What's up everyone, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today I'm going to do a little part swapping between a Marvel Legends and the CT Toys Brown Suit Wolverine. Now, I know if you've been on action figure YouTube the past 2 weeks, you've probably already gotten your fair share of the CT Toys Wolverine videos on your feed. Now, I mean, there's not much more I can say that hadn't already been said. This is probably the best $20 figure you can get right now, and the fact that it's a bootleg knockoff of a Mafex figure that's probably on the aftermarket going for $200+. That's a really great deal. But I'm not here just to heap praises upon the CT Toys Wolverine, even though I'm glad I got this figure. I want to talk about more what parts I can use for Marvel Legends, because most of my collection is Marvel Legends, and I kind of like, from an aesthetic point of view, I kind of like, you know, figures that are from the same company that kind of have the same look and feel. Even though I will say what Mafex has done with their comic line of Marvel and DC figures, they do a great job with those, and they have scaled very well with Marvel Legends. And the funny thing is with this CT Toys, the one issue a lot of people had with the Mafex Wolverine was its height, and they've actually got him at the proper height now. So, but what I want to do, I want to look at what parts we can swap between this Wolverine from CT Toys and this Weapon of Vengeance Hellverine from Marvel Legends, which is a figure I really wasn't planning on getting, but I happened to be able to get them on sale for about 40% off, and I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and get them, and let me play around with them, because I do want a brown suit Wolverine in my collection, and this fits the bill, but I want to see what we can do with this as well. So if you noticed already, I've already done one modification to the Weapons of Vengeance Wolverine, and that is I did a belt swap. So the original figure had this belt on it, which is accurate for that comic book look, but I wanted him to be more classic brown suit, so I put a belt that I believe was actually from the retro carded Samurai Wolverine, because it was this red belt and it had a silver buckle, and I don't know if it shows that well on camera, but I've gone back and painted it a brassy gold for that look. But what I want to do today, I want to make this guy a classic brown suit Wolverine, and I want to make this guy the Weapon of Vengeance. So that seems like an easy thing to do. It's just like a head swap and hand swaps, but they're not quite 100% compatible. So we're going to look at today what you got to do to be able to accomplish that. So right off the bat, with the heads, let me pull the head off of this one. Of course, we got a pretty solid big round ball joint on that one. And then on the CT Toys, you can see there we have a very, very skinny peg. And so we have a smaller hole in there, but if y'all will notice, make sure we're in focus. Oh, I got us out of focus. All right, there we go. It's got like a plastic cap on the inside that snaps into that very small dumbbell joint there, because at the moment, this is not gonna sit on there. It's just gonna be up here on top of his head, and that's not gonna quite work. So what I think we gotta do, we gotta heat that head up and see if we can get that interior plastic piece out, and then we'll see how the head sits on the ball joint. Now for this one over here, it's gonna be too big, too loose, and my go-to hack with that will just be a sticky tack. So we'll make sure we fill that head up with sticky tack to get that to sit on there. And then with the swapping the hands, so if you're familiar with Marvel Legends, you know that you pull their hands out and just have a standard peg, goes in the hand. But with a lot of import figures, they have a pegged ball joint system with their hands. So we pull this off, and let me adjust my focus one more time. So it's a little peg there on the end, and it's, you know, there's no peg on the hand itself. So obviously, as is, that's not going to go into there, and this has nothing to connect to there. But we will apply a little bit of heat because there's a peg on the inside here, and then you have the ball hinge and then the other peg. So we're going to heat up the wrist, pull those out, see if we can do a hand swap. But that's basically my thinking, my reasoning behind this. So without further ado, let's go ahead and heat up these parts and get them fully broken down, and then we'll swap them around. So with a tiny bit of heat, I was able to easily get these pegs out of the CT Toys. Honestly, you probably don't even need heat. You just need some pliers to be able to pull them out. And when we go to plug them in to the Marvel Legends here, the hole on the wrist is going to be a little too big for that to stay in. So we will be using Sticky Tack again for that. But that's the wrist joint. So let's continue to move on to how the head is shaping out. All right, so we got the CT Toys head out. I'm gonna try to do this on screen. We're gonna use this tool right here, see if I can get, there we go. We're making some progress in there. I'm trying to get up under that, pull that plastic piece out. Don't want to stretch the head too much trying to get it out, but we're making some progress. Let me see if I can get it on the chin side. There we go. Pliers back out. Let's see if we can get a good grip on it. There we go. So now that little piece, this little piece right here is out. So let's see if that will fit on there. And look at that. You can press it on there. And now we got, look at that. We'll take a closer look at that later, but we're working with something here. Let's see if I can finish out the conversion to Hellverine on the CT Toys now. So as I'm working on Hellverine here, I realized that little yellow plastic cap I took out of the CT Toys head, I was actually able to fit it in the ball socket here on this head, so that'll make that a very easy conversion onto the CT Toys. So here's the two swaps, and I think they turned out pretty well. I actually want to look at the Marvel Legends first, so we'll scoot this guy back, and yeah, I feel like that's a pretty good look for a brown suit Wolverine. I know a lot of people are already getting the new Secret Wars Wolverine in hand, and you know, many people pre-ordered that. I didn't, because I'm not a big fan of the color scheme of that brown suit. It's a little bit more like orange and yellow, so I think this works really well for that. Now the yellow of the head doesn't match the rest of the body, but I'm okay with that. Sometimes there's a little inconsistency with the two. If I can find a mustardy yellow paint one day, I may give that a little bit of a paint job to kind of match things up. But overall, I think this is a really good look. Now with the head, you know, I heated it up, stuck it on that ball, and it is now a pretty tight fit on the ball. If I put some force, I can pull it back off, but it's not going anywhere. So that's a good thing. Now, it sits a little low on the head, so when you hinge it up, it doesn't quite, you know, get as full range. There you go. See, there's enough force to pop it off. So it sits a little low on that head, on the ball. It sits a little low on that ball, but it snaps on there, as you can see. It gets a little bit of pivot. You can still look side to side, and I think that's a really good look. And now with the claws, I think the claws turned out, here, I think the claws turned out pretty well. Now, I said I was going to use sticky tack, but if you've watched enough of my channel, you know that I'm a big proponent of a little bit of electrical tape. So I wrapped that peg with electrical tape, and it is now in there securely. So I think that's a pretty solid look to convert that Marvel Legends into a brown suited Wolverine. Now, with the CT Toys, I think this looks great as well. I popped that little plastic piece on there so we can have the head pop on there. Now, it sits a little high. You can see there's a little bit of gappage. You can see through the translucent yellow a little bit. You can kind of see that peg. So a little bit of gap there, but that, I will take that, because look at that range of motion you got. And that makes this head, you know, an easy interchangeable piece with your CT Toys. So if you want to do this mod yourself, you can add that to your, you know, to the accessories with this figure. And then all I did was add the peg for these hands bigger than the hole on these. But all I did was use a hair dryer, zap that, you know, just for a couple of about 15 seconds, hit that right there, and then that loosened that plastic up enough to slide these flaming claws in there. So there you go. And then the last thing was the belt swap, which wasn't too difficult of a process, but I did realize that the CT Toys, the red belt here, was actually glued on the inside on the back there. So it made it a little bit more difficult to get off, but I was able to slide the new belt on, and there you go. There's your Weapons of Vengeance in the CT Toys form. Wolverine taking a dive there, but I think that's a pretty cool look. I'm happy with how this conversion came out, but I would love to hear y'all's thoughts in the comments below. What do y'all think about this? Do you have both of these figures, and by chance would this be something you would like to try yourself? I think if you want you know, consistency within your collection, to be like, I want them all to look like this, or I want them all with this Marvel Legends type body, you can use parts from both of these figures to make that work. So yeah, I want to hear y'all's thoughts below, and I'm gonna take a few pictures to have these at the end of the video. But before we get to those pictures, I just want to say thank y'all again for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing. All that helps me build this channel, and I want to keep making customs, keep kit bashing figures together, just playing around with them and showing them off to you. So thank you for the support, and I can't wait for the next video. I'll see y'all then.
Got no choice but to grind. It's my time, it's my time. It's my time. Got no choice but to shine. Gotta shine. About to lay it on the line. Here we go. Whoa, whoa. Let's go. Whoa, whoa. Now they know. Whoa, whoa. Let's go. Whoa, whoa. Now they know. Pull up with my partners. These my dogs, not my gatos on the way.